Okay, what we've done here is we've moved the camera to its tripod. You should now have a fairly decent look at this flying Swarmlord. You can tell I've been at it with an airbrush. I tried to take a video of that with my new video editing program. I don't think that was particularly successful, so that may not go up on YouTube, but you may be able to watch this one. I think the focusing distance on this camera is not that great. This is a Logicool C922. I'm at about 40 centimeters from the camera, over a foot away. But I think it's got it now. Anyway, this is the progress we've made. You can see there's a bunch of green on here. As I said in the last video that, like I said, you may not see, these are the Citadel airbrush range paints. This is, I hope you can see that, Castellan Green. That is the darkest of the greens that I bought. We will go on to Elysian Green from there. Bear in mind, they don't have the entire paint range as these airbrush paints. And then for the wing membranes and things, like in here, I thought it might be cool to go with a bolder color to offset the green and black. So I got some Averland Sunset and Flash Gets Yellow. And then if I do need any highlights with an airbrush, which for this model seems unlikely, I did get some White Scar White in the air range as well. To top that off, once that is done, we'll have some shades going. That is, what do they call that? Sorry. Athonian Camo Shade is the first one. Agrax Earth Shade is the second one. And of course, the Skill Multiplier, Null Oil. I haven't decided which one I'm going to use. The green is the obvious choice because it's a green model. But for a little bit more depth, I thought that maybe the Agrax Earthshade or the non-oil would even be cool. But we're not at that stage yet. I also bought some technical paints. Blood for the Blood God. You never know when you're going to need some blood for the Blood God. This is Spirit Stone Red. Obviously, I watched the Forge World Spirit Stone painting video. They recommend using a light silver paint like this Stormhost Slayer, Stormhost Silver layer, and then hitting it with the Spirit Stone Red. So I have some of that. For my base, Valhalla Blizzard texture paint. A bunch more colors, all layers and dry brush paints. And I even picked up some green stuff because I said I wasn't going to do any conversions, but and of course the Forge World resin models sometimes need some green stuff to plug some resin holes, which is a unavoidable problem, so they say. Anyway, this is the progress we've made. I'll just show you the airbrush I've been using. This is a basic dual action airbrush that came as a set with the compressor. I will show you the compressor as well. The compressor is a small hobby compressor. Okay, it's bigger than a Swarmlord, but it's still not that big. Basically, carrying handle. It's got its own little condenser thing, the oil thing, is here, and then simple on-off switch over here. It's got these rubber shock absorbing pads so that when it moves around it doesn't shake your whole table to bits, although I do have it on the floor. And it comes with this nifty hookup where you can just drop your airbrush off. As I've said, I've been using one of these to get the paint out of the Citadel cups and into the dropper cup for the airbrush. That has worked very well. I'm very happy with these. Pick this up at your local dollar store. That is a good investment. It's about 50 decibels, which is fairly quiet. But if you are the kind of person who lives in a monastery and Sister Superior frowns upon you painting heretics at night, then maybe no airbrush compression is going to work for you. Just stick to brushes. 50 decibels as it is not that loud. This thing only kicks in when you're using it, and a bit at the start to give you some air. But all in all, for $150 for the set, I think it's tremendously good value. And I've certainly been enjoying it so far. So there's that. And that is my progress. As you recall, I did a two-tone coat with the spray cans. I did a black and a light silver on top. Here on the Swarmlord's horn, you can still see this is the silver, or the, no, sorry, gray. And here you can see some of the green. I've obviously been trying to hit the carapaces, not the hard ones, but this, if you want to call it skin, the Tyranid skin is going to be green. These carapaces are going to be black with some amount of color mixed in some sort of pattern, like tropical insects. But you can see I've not been very careful. Like, this is the base coat. As we pick up in details, this will start to become more fidgety, where some areas may have to be masked or things like that. But we'll see how that goes. So far, this has been great. Those of you who are really picky will have noticed, and I will use this thing for its secondary use, which is to point at things. There is a piece of the plastic kit for the Hive Tyrant and Swarmlord, which is a collarbone. It goes here. I didn't include it in the model. I knew what it was. I wanted this head to turn as far to his right as possible. If you look at it from this angle, you can see that that head is tilted far to the right. That left no room for that collarbone. I looked at it with, I looked at it without, and ultimately I decided the model doesn't need the collarbone to look amazing, so I just left the collarbone out. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to get the aircraft back out. We're going to go in with this Elysian green and see if we can't pick up some top-down highlights on the flesh tone and in the wings as well before we switch from here to the Averland sunset. I'll try to do that on camera for you guys, but that will be a different video because these are getting long. And my successes and failures will be for you to enjoy. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you next time, YouTube.